Hello and welcome to Whenever You're Ready. This tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use your productivity pack. Let's start off with what's included in the pack. Here on the left-hand side, you'll see the menu. You can see that we have the instructions tab, setup, dashboard, to-do list or task tracker, the calendar, schedule, the goal tracker, and the habit tracker. The productivity pack, it just brings all your goals, tasks, and habits in one easy space. So that's kind of what I've put together here. But to get started, you will start on the setup tab. What you'll do is create tags for each to-do task. So this will create you could say like a category for some of the work that you're doing so that you can, it'll basically assign them a bucket if you needed to just see all the things that you need to see for YouTube or all the things you needed to do for your website. It'll bucket them. Next, you'll want to create priority levels. In this case, we're doing high, medium, low. You can do whatever you'd like. You can do critical, urgent. It's completely up to you. And then also here on this to-do status, you will want to choose the options that you would like to appear on your spreadsheet. So here I have open, done, and backlog. It is important to choose whether the to-do status that you're setting up means that it is pending or closed. This will help. This will make more sense once we get to the actual to-do list tracker. And then also you can have different people in charge. So here I have Lola and Mike. Additionally, you can add colors. So these colors will also appear. So if you wanted to set colors for each thing, so I'm on a Mac, so I'm doing Command C and then Command V to paste. And also Command C again, Command V to paste. And then we can do the same thing for this last one. Let's do this color, Command C, Command V. And you can paste those here. Now we can move on to the dashboard. So in the dashboard, you can kind of get a high level overview of where you stand currently with pretty much all the trackers that we have here. So you can see here that you have two overdue and one that's due today. And then this is just giving you a snapshot of your overall progress based on all the to-do lists that you have. So 20% are closed and others are pending, so they're still open. And then it gives you a snapshot of overdue, not due today, and then due today. Next, you'll see a snapshot of the SMART goals tracker. So this is just a high level view of where you currently stand with the goals that you have listed here in that SMART goals tracker. Here, it would usually say a name based on what you would put as your goal one. So if it's website, it would say website build. So yeah. And then lastly, in this dashboard, you will have a snapshot overview of where you stand with your habits. So these are your top 10 daily habits and then your top 3 weekly habits and the percentage that you are with completing them. As well, here on the left-hand side, you could see that you completed 25% and you have 75% left. So let's go ahead and move on to the to-do list or the task tracker. So here, when you come into the to-do list or the task tracker, you can see that 1 out of 9 are complete. It gives you a high level again of 2 are overdue, 1 is due today, and then the date as well as open, how many are open, backlog are done. Also, you have your status by priority, decision, and progress based on due date. So next, what you'll do is add whatever tasks that you may have that you would need to complete. So if you needed to do, uh, you could say goal tracking, if that's something that you want to complete for your website. You would select that. As you see, this color appeared here on the left-hand side. So those are based on the colors that you chose in the beginning. So say it was goal tracking for email, that color would change. You would go ahead and choose a start date by double clicking in the cell. And you could say that you start today or tomorrow, you could say. And then it's due, we'll say, we'll give ourselves 34 days. Then you would choose the level. And you can see here, the color also appears based on what we decided in that setup. And you can go ahead and use the Eisenhower Matrix. So this is going to help you make a decision on how to move forward with the task. So if it's urgent, then you would select urgent and it would say delegate. If you say it's urgent and important, then it'll change to do. If it is just important, it's something that you could schedule. So it would help you decide on the decision. If you don't have any options, it says delete. If it's not urgent or important, it means this is something that's not a priority right now. But we'll say that this is important, so we can schedule it out. And then here we can choose a status. So if we choose open, it will show that it's open. Like some of these statuses are, it's because I updated the open in the beginning. So there we go. So open, and these will remain open. Um, then you can choose who is assigned the task. And if you have any comments, you can say that, add those here. Also, as you can see that we have some highlighted in red and yellow. So the ones that are highlighted in red are the ones that are overdue. And the one that's highlighted in yellow is the one that the deadline is today. So it's due today. So it's kind of highlighting the things that you should probably take a look at. And then you can see the days here. So how much time you have to complete the tasks based on the start date and the deadline that you selected. When a task is done, so say we want to say the one that's due today is done, you would just come here and select done because based on the statuses that we chose in the setup tab, done means to close. So because done means to close, it will go ahead and strike that off and put a checkbox there. So that is the way that you would complete a task and it'll show closed throughout this spreadsheet. Okay, so that is how you would set that up. Now let's go to the calendar. The calendar, you have a couple of options on how you would like to display. So when you're here, all the things that are down here are automatically populated based on what you select at the top. So obviously the year, we're in 2025. If you want your calendar to start on Monday or Sunday, you could choose that here. So it would change to Monday or Sunday, depending on what you like. And then also the month. If you show it just says show completed tasks. You can take that away and it'll remove any completed tasks. So if I were to put this here, you can see email automation was completed, so it doesn't need to be there for that date. And then duplicate. So if you want to basically show the tasks throughout the time that they're due. So if if your start date was July 1st and your due date is July 15th, if you do show duplicate, um, this will show the tasks all the way through to the due date. Um, and you can also do that here. So if you were to select, the start date instead of the due date, the deadline. So it's completely up to you on how you want this to display. And then also you can choose the tags that you want, whether you want it to show by the tags, which were basically like the categories, or if you want it to show by priority. So whether it was high, medium, or low. And then also here you have the option to only show, say, lows. See, there's none that are here that are low. Maybe if we choose duplicate, yeah. So because this is by deadline, right? Maybe if we choose start date instead, and then take away duplicate. Now you could see that it started today. So it's really based on the options that you choose here, but you have a couple of options to play around with. And then also you can just show based on exactly what you want to display. So based on those tags that you chose. And it looks like there's nothing that is started now, maybe with the deadline, show duplicates. So it looks like none of these things, nothing for YouTube is due right in this month. When you choose all, you could see kind of all the things that are coming up, where it looks like it's just like the goal tracker in this case. So just play around with those and however you would like it to be displayed, select your option. Now let's move on to the schedule. Oh, one more thing actually I should mention is if you wanted to print this out for whatever reason, if you wanted to have this maybe on your on your wall or whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and highlight this and then I'm on a Mac again, so I'm doing Command P. And you could use the selected, so it's just the calendar if you'd like. And you just have to play around with these settings. So fit to page would also probably work. It looks like fit to width works. Actually, it's a little cut off. So fit to page, you just have to play around with the settings. And then next, and then you could basically print this out and have this on your desk. So you also have that option, and that's the same option for any page. So you can do the same thing for the schedule or anything you'd like. So let's go ahead and move on to the schedule. So in this case, you are able to assign the tasks based on blocks that you set up. So you have the option to choose 15-minute blocks, um, 30-minute blocks, 45-minute blocks, or 60. So it's completely up to you on how you would want to set this up. But you also have that decision, and then also you can show these based on your tags or your priorities. So it's going to basically change the colors based on your tags or your priorities. It just really depends on, what you decide. So if you wanted to, and then also here you can, this is what's displaying here in the subtitles. So this is just what's upcoming. So based on all the tasks that have been here, it's telling you at a high level which tasks are basically coming up due. So in this case, you would you would have these coming up. So you have one on the 11th, the 1st. But if these were all filled, then it would show basically just one day if it covered all of the boxes that we have here at the top. And then again, you can play around with these settings. So if you wanted to show it by person in charge, right, it would show who's in charge. You wanted to show it by status, you could show the status. It's really up to you on what you would want to display here. Also, you are going to go ahead and just the way that you schedule is go ahead and just assign these tasks here in each box, and you can basically plan out your week. Um, I The only caveat is that once you're done, you do have to unfortunately come in and delete these. They will not automatically go away. So you will have to just go inside the box and just click delete on your keyboard. It will not mess up anything. It will just basically be a fresh start. So that is one thing that you will have to do in order to start over. Um, yeah, and that is how you use the schedule. Let's go ahead and jump over to the goal tracker. I will say that the goal tracker, as well as the habit tracker, all these are independent. So the to-do list, the calendar, and the schedule, these three work together. So the information that you are adding to your to-do list will be available in that calendar and in that schedule. So just so you know. And in this case, we will go ahead and go through the SMART goals. So you have the option, if you don't want to add an image here, you can click the minus sign over here on the left. It's okay to press OK, and it'll just remove that image. If you do want to have an image, just click that again, press OK, and it will add the image. To add an image, you would have to, um, right now, I just clicked my right keyboard, my right mouse, but you can just click inside the box and go to File. Let's bring the menu here. So go to File and go to Insert, or sorry, the menu, I should say. Go to Insert Image and then Insert Image in Cell. So whatever image you wanted to add, just make sure you choose in cell so we can choose another and it'll go ahead and add it there. Next, you would want to double click the cell and choose a date. So if you want to start today and then you want to give yourself until August 26th, it's basically telling you how many days you have left. And then you would want to add whatever tasks that you needed to complete in order to accomplish the goal. The key with the SMART goals tracker is that making you're creating tasks that are actionable and achievable and they're time bound. So this is to try to help you stay accountable and break your bigger goals into smaller goals. So if my main goal was to build my website, in the top here, I'll just say build a website. And then I would write the things here up to 20 tasks to say what I needed to do to build that website. So get domain. Let's see. Open or start Shopify account, right? And then the list will go on and on, right? So depending on what what things you need to accomplish, you can just write them here. So it's breaking them out down into smaller goals. Once you complete a goal, you just go ahead and put a check mark there, and it will display here your progress towards completing this overall goal. I did add a section down below. I like to call it the purpose section, where you can add your purpose, right? Why the goal is important, why what do you hope to accomplish, and what would happen if you didn't pursue it? It's just something here to help you reflect when things may get a little challenging. And then also you have the option to add a reward. So say after you build your website, you are able to take a weekend off because you've been working through different weekends. So you can go ahead and put that here or whatever the case may be, but it's just an additional incentive to try to motivate you. But yes, this is how you would use this tracker. You have up to 15 goals, so you can um, go ahead and track up to 15 different goals. So let's move on to the habit tracker. Now with the habit tracker, it's the same here where you would choose your month, you would choose your year, and then here is where you're going to start adding what daily habits you would like to create. And then down here, you have the option of weekly habits that you would like to create. So if it's here we're doing read the Bible, and currently we want to do this 10 times in this month. 30-minute walk, we want to do it 30 times in this month. Take vitamins, right? So you're setting that number here, and then as you complete those habits, you can go ahead and check the box here. Um, Once you're complete, you really have two options. So, and you would do the same here for the weekly goals. You would say what you want to accomplish and then enter the amount of times you want to complete it. But as I was saying, you have two options as far as when you complete the goal. You could either erase everything that's here, or you can just click this arrow here and duplicate. So it's completely up to you. If you wanted to erase everything that's here, you just have to highlight this area, and then on your keyboard, you would press the space bar twice, basically, because when you press it once, it highlights everything. When you press it again, it removes everything. So that's how you would get rid of everything if you decide to do that. Also, you can see here that it does give you a snapshot of your progress, which is the same thing that we saw on that dashboard. Right now it says 0 because we just got rid of all the check marks. But if you were to add, it would update the progress here. Um, so yes, we actually went through the entire walkthrough. Just remember, productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most and just with intentionality and clarity. This is to try to help organize that. But you can go ahead and grab a copy if you if you would like one. Just the link is in the description. And if you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out. Um, yeah, thank you. Happy planning.